100 are Section 8.
Less than 10%.
Less than 10%.
Although there's a lot of stimulus money out there today, that number is growing today more than it is any time since I've been in business.
Right.
Because there's these, they call it work-to-school programs, where they're paying the tenants rent for a year in advance. Like,
Yes, that's good.
that's amazing when we get that chance. Yes. So there's a lot of that money out there that's never been there before. For many years, the Section 8 programs have been closed to new occupants. You know, you have 100 vouchers and that's all there are.
Right.
Now they're growing the voucher program because of the stimulus programs that are out there. So that population is growing a little bit,
Okay.
but most of our rentals are not Section 8.
Right, which Section 8 is very stable. Would you say the portion that's not Section 8, do you have a sense that there's a lot more turnover just because they're having a tough time with jobs and paying the rent? I mean, realistically, not just trying to get out of it?
I think realistically people are having trouble paying rents. This is not the time to raise rents.
Right.
Matter of fact, in December we sent out in our newsletter that if they would sign another year's lease, we would lower their rent to encourage them to stay. Well, it's $20, but $20 versus 1 month of vacancy, who's smarter here?
Yeah.
So we're doing things to encourage them to stay. Can we clean your carpets this year to get you to sign another 1-year lease? We're doing things to encourage people to stay. And there's difficulties everywhere. We're seeing people lose in our marketplace their $300,000 home, then move to the $120,000 home and want the same amenities. So tenants are more, they're more conscientious about what they're renting. Their demands are much higher. And the rents are a little bit lower, but the cost of purchasing the homes and the interest rates absolutely outweigh that.
Right.
And our homes are always, I think, the best on the market anyhow, because that's the way we rent.
What percentage would $20 be of the monthly rents?
Our average rents are $595 to $1,095, and that's pretty much our rent. Yeah, not much.
What industry do you have there? I mean, is it a farming community?
Oh,
or
absolutely not. We're home to 11 Fortune 500 and like 15 Fortune 1000 companies. We're between Cincinnati and Dayton, so we're in a major market thoroughfare.
Okay.
So we feed, the north end feeds Dayton, the south end feeds Cincinnati. AK Steel, which is one of the largest manufacturers of steel, is located in Butler County. Miller Brewery has a brewery in Trenton, Ohio. It's the only industry in Trenton because it's a bedroom community. Chiquita Banana is headquartered in Cincinnati. Scripps Howard Broadcasting, which does HGTV. Macy's is headquartered in part of Butler County. The cost of living draws these corporate jobs there because it's so inexpensive for them.
Is Columbus or what city?
Columbus,
What city are you in?
I'm in between Cincinnati and Dayton. I'm in Butler County, which is about 7 small cities. Has a population in the county of about 350,000.
Speak a little bit about the difference between month-to-month and a year lease, as why you'd want to do one or the other, such as wage garnishment ability or whatever, any of that.
Occupied units make money. Vacant properties don't. Anything you can do to encourage that tenant to stay longer is in your best interest. So we discourage month to month. Matter of fact, in a normal market, our rent increase is $10 for a year or $20 for a year, $50 for 6 months, $100 if you want to stay month to month. We try to make it painful for them to stay month to month, especially this time of year because in Ohio it's 10 degrees, there's snow on the ground, nobody wants to move their Christmas tree.
Right.
But we still keep in-house between 96 and 98% occupancy.
That's good.
And all of our units are rented in less than 30 days
It's really good.
on average.
So a typical home is 100 to 110,000. What would that be worth?
On a $100,000 home, his question is what would rent be on a $100,000 to $120,000 home? It would be between $995 and $1,095. It's just about 1% of the purchase price.
Like
And
it
the
used,
same thing with taxes.
like it used,
Taxes are very reasonable.
like it used to be here a long time ago. 1%.
Right.
A long time ago.
I bet that was a long time ago.
Do you use
So-
an automatic system to raise rents in the taxes go up and insurance goes up?
I do not use an automatic system, although when election time is coming and everyone's wanting to vote on the school levies, I remind them in our newsletter that every time they vote for a tax increase, the opportunity is there for their rents to go up. But I don't build it in automatically at all, because they don't care what's going up with me, they only care about them. Yes, sir.
What would a 40,000 home rent for, and what are the taxes as a percentage?
$495 to $550, depending on the neighborhood, and your taxes are going to be about $600 or $700 a year. Because most of those homes, we're in the process of a tax reevaluation, which is another interesting concept of ways to save money. Remember, we're all trying to save money today. It's not, if you do what you did yesterday in real estate, you're going to fail tomorrow. So we have to change with the times, and your property taxes can be reevaluated annually at reevaluation. And what you do is you petition to have your taxes lowered for what you paid for the property. And if you bought your property through a realtor or that was listed on the MLS, then that's considered a fair market value and the taxes then go down. I saved $20,000 last year.
Ooh, that's good.
That's my Geico commercial. And the same thing with insurance. There's a lot of things that you can do with your insurance to save costs. Last year we did save $15,000 by dropping our coverage for ordinance of change. There's an ordinance of law rule that says if your property burns down today, you have to bring it up to standards, and you can actually insure that. And it's a coverage that you pay a lot for. And we dropped ours and saved $15,000. We also dropped our business rents. If your house burns down, how the insurance company will continue to pay you for your loss of rents. Well, we found their maximum that they would pay was $15,000, and it cost us $20,000 for that coverage every year. We really don't have more than one fire at a time, ever. We've only had 4 in 12 years, so I thought, I think I'll keep that $20,000. So look at your insurance policies as you're thinking about ways to save money today. That's a whole different topic.
That's good. I also read something recently about federal government looking to license each house for EPA regulations and other things like that, where you'd have to have, just like a car, a license plate on the house. Have you heard anything like that?
We should vote against that.
Yeah.
However, and we're in fundraising mode, understand. All of our governments are losing money, so they want to do things to generate money, and landlords are rich, right?
Right.
So many communities are trying to license landlords, which
really?
on a local basis versus a federal basis. Our Ohio Real Estate Investment Association petitioned to do it on a statewide basis, voluntarily with the auditors, and in that law we also had wrote in that the communities couldn't charge for a license if they were expecting the same information that we provided to the state, because that information was made locally. So this is where it's important to be a part of groups like this and to sponsor legislation so that you don't get taken advantage of. So what you're hearing is happening on a local basis because it's a fundraising mechanism for the communities. Our community, when this was happening, wanted to charge us $125 per year per unit.
Wow, that's a lot.
I thought, we took them to referendum. We voted against it. We won.
Wow, good.
But that's what communities are doing, which is why it's important to stay tied in with an investment group, because this is where you need to know, and you need to be involved in your local politics.
Are you at all a member of a national REIA or anything like
I
that?
am. I actually spoke last year on the National REIA Cruise.
Oh, good.
I have a program called, what's that one called? The REIA that I wrote with
Okay.
Nina Jones-Cox. She's one of my good friends. She's also a real estate speaker. And basically we teach people how to set up a real estate business. All of us know how to go out and get a good deal, but how do you know how to set up a business? Association, the Greater Cincinnati and Butler County Real Estate Investors Association. I was the president of Butler County for about 7 years.
Right.
It's important to be involved in your community
Yeah.
if you're going to have real estate, because your local politicians can rob your pockets if you're not careful, because we're rich.
Right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to thank you all for staying as long as we have. So you got a nice
idea what time it is?
Yeah.
It's, almost,
20 to 4. So,
no, I have 10 of them.
10 of 4.
10 of 4.
so we're almost at 4 o'clock, so we went from an hour to almost 2 hours. We did pretty good. Got a lot of good gift of gab here. Thank you very much for everybody's questions, for making this interactive, and making it, useful to physically be here. That's what makes a difference. And thank you, Linda, very much. We're very excited that you're going to be around more often and work on this connection and continue to do things.
All right, sounds great. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Where's Linda going to be living?
She's going to
Solvang or Santinez, we're looking in those two areas.
Right, so if she starts having expos once or twice a year in Santa Barbara, that's going to be a really good thing. Because that's the whole reason we started this, was to try to bring speakers in here. This will make a big difference on bringing some really big speakers in. So, it's good news.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all. We'll be back next month, January. So we'll be there. Thank you.